following announcement has been paid for by the new Howl Order.
Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, we'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So, this could very well be the final game in the Rivera era on Thursday as the Washington Commanders take on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, obviously, the bye week looms, and if you were really serious about making a change, that would probably be the most ideal time. But should Washington get embarrassed on national television on a pseudo bye with 10 days between the next game, you could theoretically make the switch. A lot of fans wanted the change made after Sunday's debacle versus the Giants, in which they were swept in a loss to the Tommy DeVito-led New York Giants at home. However, and 6 turnovers. Can't forget that as well. However, it was unreasonable to think that something would be done with a short turnaround in a game on Thursday. Just didn't seem feasible. But should it go off the rails in this game with everyone watching, there's a very high likelihood that this is the last game of the Rivera era. Now, you win this game or you're hyper competitive, who knows? Maybe it buys him an additional week and then he's canned at the bye week after the Dolphins game. Maybe, just maybe, and this is, something that you have to consider, maybe Josh Harris isn't going to do anything until the season's over. Because again, as I've already stated, it really doesn't make that big of a difference. The guy that's ultimately going to be here as your next head coach is probably coaching somewhere else right now, and you can't even talk to him. You can't even begin the process. If you don't believe in anybody else on this staff, then what's the point? Making a change for the sake of making a change isn't really making a change at all. It's just appeasing people who want change. And at this point, what are we talking about? Now, again, I think it's all about optics. If you're Josh Harris, you're looking to pander to the fan base, you're looking to try to reel them back in, maybe you have to make something happen. If there were a young coach that they were interested in, had EB been tearing it up this year as the offensive coordinator, just been outstanding, and every loss you could just pin on the defense because the offense has just been stellar all season long, maybe they would have done this already. Who knows? But EB has been up and down just like the rest of this football team has been. You don't know what you're going to get from week to week from him. Hell, last week, we looked like the Cleveland Browns. Smash mouth team, running the football all over the damn place. Who knows what we're going to get in week 12 versus the Dallas Cowboys? Will they revert back to Sam slinging it 30 times in the first half? Only one way to find out. But when it's all said and done, everything's going to fall back on the head coach, as it usually does. And if this team performs poorly yet again, he will probably meet his coaching demise on Black Friday. If they go out, they're hyper competitive. Whether they win or lose, if they're there to the very bitter end, maybe he survives yet another week. Again, only one way to find out. We'll see what happens. I can tell you this much. I woke up feeling dangerous this morning. Now, I don't know if I'll feel the same way tomorrow, but today, feeling a little dangerous. We'll see what happens. In other news, it's nothing really here to see. We'll take a quick gander at the injury report for both teams. We'll start with the good guys and see, this is the same one from yesterday. Obviously, at the time of this video, hadn't had an update yet, but we can pretty much speculate what's going to go on here. The only one we aren't sure about, and we might not know until game time, right? They may just tell us today, hey, Emmanuel Forbes is going to be out. He's not traveling with the team, yada, yada, yada. But If he's limited today, he could be questionable, and it could end up being a game time decision. When you have these Thursday games, it's just tough. It's tough on your body. You're not used to this quick turnaround. He might have been good to go on a Sunday, but because it's a Thursday game, he might not be able to go. We'll see. Khaleke Hudson with the back. How severe is it? He wasn't on the injury report on Monday, so clearly something, because it was a walkthrough, he maybe didn't have to declare anything. Tuesday, they actually had to engage in physical activity, and maybe that's when he said, okay, I can't do it. So whatever the case may be, most of these guys, we can kind of speculate. We can kind of guess as to what's going to transpire. All the guys down here that are full, they're going to be good. The limited guys, I feel pretty good about them as well. I think Antonio Gibson's going to give it a go. I think Quan Martin's going to be able to get out there. We know James Smith-Williams and Alex Armour are going to be out with hamstring injuries. We don't have to guess. That's a fact, okay? So really what you're talking about is Emmanuel Forbes, Dejon Harris, and Khaleke Hudson. Emmanuel Forbes is a big question mark. We'll probably learn a little bit more later on today. If not today, definitely early stages of tomorrow. Dejon Harris, not a big deal whether he plays or not, especially with the return of Cody Barton. That allows a guy like David Mayo to go back into a key special teams role. Not that he was not playing special teams, but now you don't have to really worry about him playing starter snaps. So a guy like Dejon Harris isn't as valuable when you have David Mayo back in his key special teams role. And then Khaleke Hudson, you'd like to have him out there. He's another guy that you like to put on the field defensively in a pinch. Now, again, with Cody Barton back, I don't see Khaleke Hudson seeing the field all that much. But in the event that something were to transpire, you would love to have him available and at your disposal. So we'll see what happens with his back. My guess is that he'll be okay to play, but a back is really tricky. It's very, very tricky. So I think the only guy really that we should be really concerned about is Emmanuel Forbes Jr. In a secondary that's been struggling, young guy that needs more reps against a team that has been really prolific throwing the football of late with CeeDee Lamb in particular. You'd love to have a full deck of defenders in the secondary at your disposal. We'll see what happens with Emmanuel Forbes Jr. Meanwhile, with the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think there's much to see here other than Jaron Kearse and Rico Dowdle. We kind of talked about this already. As you can see, Gallup's, it was a personal day. It wasn't injury related. Same with Tyron Smith. Terrence Steele, full participant yesterday. CeeDee Lamb, he's already told the media he's going to play on Thursday. Head coach Mike McCarthy didn't sound too concerned about CeeDee Lamb's injury. So, again, I wasn't expecting him to miss this game. Osa Odigizua been full all week. So, again, we can just limit this to two guys. We've done it all week. Rico Dowdle and Jaron Kearse. My guess is that Rico Dowdle will probably be out of this game, but I won't rule out Jaron Kearse quite yet. Neither one of them, really, because we did this with Seattle. There were guys that sat out most of the week, and then we got to Sunday, and those guys were playing. So we'll see what Wednesday brings for both of these players. If they can get out here on a limited basis, they may be able to go. I'm thinking that in a short week, Rico Dowdle and Jaron Kearse are out of this game. That's my guess. But again, we will see. Hard to really say because Wednesday feels a lot different than Monday or Tuesday, right? You're starting to get a little bit back to where you would be on a normal week, feeling good enough to get back out on the practice field. So Wednesday is one thing, and then Thursday you might feel good enough to go. So I wouldn't rule either one of them out, but both are trending towards not playing. But again, we will see. So let's just go straight to the game plan. There's really no reason to hesitate or waste any time. And this isn't a very intensive game plan where I sit down and I map out 4 offensive keys, 4 defensive keys. We're past that point of the season now. When you're 4-7 and you lose to the Giants for a second time at home, there's no reason to go through the song and dance. This kind of feels over in terms of, the competitive portion of the season. So now it's just about how do we go out and remain competitive in this game, not embarrass ourselves, and give ourselves the best chance to win the football game. So in my mind, I've somewhat figured out, I've like cracked the code when it comes to this team, so to speak, in terms of early tells on whether we're going to be hyper competitive or if we're going to fold the tent and get our asses whooped in the game. So what I've effectively done, and you guys know the even odd rule with this team this season, so I don't have to go over that. That's already something working in our favor in this particular game, is the even rule. It's the even week. We've played well every even week this season. Even in losses, we've looked competent, hyper competitive, and had chances to win in just about every single game on an even week, even the ones that we've lost. That said, taking it a step further, one of the key tells with this team as to whether they're going to be very competitive or not is how they start the game. And whether they give up a touchdown or a field goal defensively is of no consequence. That doesn't matter. Where is it's most important and imperative is on the offensive side of the football. Research shows, my research shows that when we score any points, field goal or touchdown within the first two drives, it's usually a key indicator that the team is going to perform well offensively and we're going to have a shot to hang in the football game. Okay, you can go through the entire schedule if you'd like. I've already done it and I've saved you the trouble. But if you want to go and do your own research, please, by all means, knock yourself out. You'll find what I already found, that when we score on one of the first two possessions of the game, doesn't matter which one, first possession is always great because it shows that the team is ready and that they're capable of putting up a fight that day. But if you don't score in that first possession, you would at least like to see a first down or two to let you know, okay, maybe we could get into a rhythm, But if they don't score something, a touchdown or a field goal within the first two possessions of the game, usually things go off the tracks for us, go off the rails, and you'll look up and at halftime it's 17-3, it's 20-3, it's 14-0, it's 14-3, and you see where this is heading, right? We've been down that road before, don't want to go back down that road again, and so hopefully they come out with a nice game plan, catch Dallas off guard on the opening possession of the game, march it down the field or get an explosive, whatever, find the end zone, if not the end zone, find field goal range and put up some points and show a little bit of resistance early. And generally, once they show fight early, it consistently plays itself out throughout the game and we remain competitive for 4 quarters. So we'll know very early on if this team is going to be ready to play and be competitive, right? Or is this going to be another ass thrashing on primetime television for all to see? You'll know very quickly. If Dallas gets after Sam, the play calling's uneven on the first, or we have a penalty or something stupid and, we get to third down, they rush us, Sam has to throw it away or he gets sacked. That's a bad omen on the first possession, but you still got the second possession. And if the second possession looks like the first possession, then we're in trouble, okay? If we march it down the field like we did against the Eagles in the first game, or the Eagles in the second game, or the Patriots, or the Falcons, where we were able to get field goals in the Patriot and Falcons games and touchdowns in the Seahawks, Eagles, and Eagles game, right? Then okay, we got a shot today. We got a realistic shot today. So, if you're going to have a realistic shot in this game, all the same shit that we talk about every week applies. Can't turn it over. Can't beat yourself with penalties. You got to stay ahead of the sticks. Got to be in manageable third down situations. You got to convert third downs. You got to convert in the red zone. All of these things apply. Nothing changes. It's all the same, right? From week to week, it varies, with the opponent. How urgent is it, right? When you're playing a bad team, it's not as urgent. When we played New England, you didn't have to be perfect in the red zone. We had threw a bad red zone pick in that game. You still were able to overcome it and win the game. When you're playing better teams, the margin of error shrinks, and you can't be one of three in the red zone and still expect to win the game. And so this stuff isn't rocket science at this point. If we turn it over, we lose the turnover battle 3-0, 2-0, we're probably going to lose the game, and it's probably not going to be close. You don't turn it over, you're efficient on third downs, you keep your defense off the field by converting those third downs and keeping possession of the football. Dallas has been really good defensively in just about all aspects, but you can run the football on them a bit. Now, you got to run at them. You can't run away from them. Their defense is too fast, but they're light in the pants. They trade girth for speed. So if you are able to manhandle them up front, like the Eagles were, like the 49ers were able to do, and even the Arizona Cardinals were able to lean on them in the run game, then you'll have a shot. And we don't know if EB is going to be willing to commit to the run game 2 weeks in a row. I mean, what he did last week was fantastic in terms of running the football, actually shocking to the census. However, we didn't get any big plays off of it. We didn't go play action fake. We didn't utilize and capitalize off of the success that we had on the ground. I don't know if he's going to go back to that or not. My guess is he'll revert back to his old ways and Sam will have 27 pass attempts in the first half. That's my guess. Now, again, in order to have 27 pass attempts, you got to possess the football. And if we're going 3 and out, there's no way he's going to make it to 27 pass attempts. So, again, it all boils down to, are we taking care of the rock? Are we doing the little things? Attention to detail. No pre-snap penalties. No holdings and things of that nature that erase big plays or plays that keep you ahead of down and distance in the sticks. You got to make sure you're not beating yourself, but trying to beat the Dallas Cowboys as the opponent. Defensively, the reason why I have no confidence in this team the remainder of the season is on the defensive side of football. I don't think we'll be able to stop the run without the Cinco package, meaning they're going to have to put 5 guys on the field on the defensive line. In doing that, you run the risk of giving up explosive runs, like the one we gave up to Saquon Barkley in the second half of the game, because you've got a lot of guys devoted to the line of scrimmage and in that front. And so there's not that back end line of the defense. The linebackers aren't as far back. You don't have as many of them on the field, or defenders for that matter, whether it's a Buffalo nickel or whatever. You don't have those guys further back. And so it can get a little bit dicey when you're playing the Cinco package. But in order to stop the run consistently, I think we have to live in that. And so whether Dallas is looking to exploit that or not remains to be seen. But the explosives have been a problem all season long. I shudder to think at what CeeDee Lamb is going to do to this defense. We've had trouble corralling number 1 wide receivers all year long. Bona fide stud number 1 wide receivers have destroyed us, from A.J. Brown twice to DJ Moore, who else? DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett both had really good games against us. So this has been an ongoing theme all season long. Stephon Diggs had like 11 catches for over 100 yards. Like, we just don't know how to stop the other team's best receiver, and we're getting another one of those guys in this game in CeeDee Lamb, and he's been playing at a ridiculous level over the last 5 weeks or so, and so it could get ugly on the back end. And you have Emmanuel Forbes banged up. You're not going to get any pressure on the quarterback. Don't allow the 9 sacks last week to fool you. You know better than that. You know that this is not a pass rush that is adept at getting to the quarterback with the group that they're going to be putting on the field. We got some young guys. I'm excited to watch them play, but understand that this is a real official outfit that we're playing against. Not that ragtag group that the Giants put on the field with a quarterback that didn't know if he was coming or going, still threw for 3 touchdowns and 246 yards. But this is Dak Prescott, who arguably is playing some of the best football of his career. and an offensive line that is big, it is stout, it is athletic, it is good. I don't think we're going to be able to get consistent pressure, if any, on him without blitzing. You blitz, now CeeDee Lamb has one-on-one. Shit could go off the rails. So pick your poison. Brandon Cooks might get off in this game. Who knows? This defense makes stars out of guys who have been bums all season long. So no telling what's going to happen in this game. At the end of the day, I don't expect much of this defense. If they're able to create a turnover or two, great. Dak has been pretty generous, early in ball games, with turning it over, giving you a shot to hang in early. But if you don't take advantage of good field position or, Dallas starting slow, and they've started slow each of the last 2 weeks against lesser opponents, they started slow. If you can't take advantage of that slow start, and again, who are we to say that they're going to start slow against us? We are one of the worst teams defensively to start games. We've given up, I think the most points on opening possessions in the NFL this season. So who knows? If Dallas comes out, they're locked in, they don't make any mistakes, they're probably going to move it right down the field and score. But, all we can do is try to match them blow for blow. Whether we lose the toss and get the football first, or we win it and we defer, we got to find a way to not find ourselves in a 14-0 hole, 10-0 deficit. We haven't proven, other than the second game of the season against Denver, that we are comeback material. We were a different team then, though. Mentally, we were different. Physically, we were different. That's not the mental makeup of this team. We get behind, I don't see this team being able to pull themselves up by the bootstraps and make it competitive. So the key will be the start to this game. We'll know very early on. And it's not just if Dallas gets the ball first and moseys on down the field and scores a touchdown. That won't determine anything for me, because I expect this defense to give up points in this game. What'll be the tell for me is if we get the football after Dallas went down and scored a touchdown or a field goal, and then we go 3 and out. Okay, that's not a good sign. Not the end of the world yet. Dallas gets it again, moves it down the field, or they punt, whatever. We get the ball that second time, however, and if the results are similar, now I'm worried and I think, it's only a matter of time before this thing blows up in our face. So we'll know quite early in this game if they've come to play or not. You get an opening drive touchdown from the Commanders, all right, they got a game on their hands. And if they don't tighten up, they could lose to the Commanders, could the Cowboys. If they come out and they stop us twice, they got us, pretty much. Okay, they got us. So what is my prediction for this game? I'm telling you, I woke up feeling dangerous. This feels like the Eagles game from last year, week 10. I know different set of circumstances, different team, different mindset. We had won 3 games prior to the Vikings loss. So we were a little bit more confident then. We weren't out of anything at that point of the season. We're out of it now. Rivera wasn't on the verge of being fired. He is now. This team is just different. That said, I think this is going to end one of 3 ways, okay? And I'm going to tell you how I think this game is going to go. But to me, this game can only end in one of 3 ways. One, we just get blown out. Obviously, we don't start fast. Dallas does. And, it's a quick, painless death. And you lose this game 38-17, something to that effect, right? So that's one. You get blown out. I don't think I see that happening, though, right? What I ultimately see is one of 2 things taking place. Now, again, that third option does exist. But I think it's going to be one of 2 things: a close Dallas win or a close Washington win. Now, I'm leaning heavily towards the close Washington loss, right? The close Dallas win, because I don't trust our defense to make anything stick late in this ball game unless we have it last. And I trust Sam. And if we get this football down 27-23, we could win this game 30-27. If we get the ball late, down 27-24, we could win this game in overtime 30-27, or win the game in regulation 31-27, right? But the likelihood is Dallas will have the football because this is how it's been all season long with us for the most part. Dallas will get the football. And I really do believe that we're going to keep this thing competitive and close all game long. And I think we're going to have the lead 27-23 with about 2 minutes and 37 seconds left. Dallas is going to get the football after Washington is taking a late lead. And I think Dak Prescott's going to take the Cowboys down the field on this defense. And he's going to punch it into the end zone with about, 18 seconds left to break our hearts on Thanksgiving Day, 30-27. Got the Cowboys in come from behind fashion, beating Washington on Thanksgiving. What's new, right? Here's another thing that's working in our favor. So we've got the even theory going for us, right? It's an even game, all right? We've got the score in the first 2 possessions theory going. Let's add one more. We've never beaten Dak Prescott at home or on the road, in this case, in Dallas, okay? So that's a streak. You know what we are. We're streak breakers, okay? So I don't know the exact record for Dak against Washington in Dallas at home, but it's got to be like 5-0, right? Something to that effect. We've never beaten him in Dallas. The 2 times we've gotten Dak in his career, they've both been in Washington. So streaks are made to be broken. Nobody's better in the business than us at breaking streaks, whether good or bad. That's another thing that I'm throwing into this big Thanksgiving pot that we hope cooks up a dub or at least a competitive showing. Sam's going to show out in front of the world. I'm not worried or concerned about him. It's the defense that I'm worried about. But we'll see what Jack and company are able to do. 30-27, Dallas gets the come from behind victory to improve to 8-3. Washington drops to 4-8 on the season. What says you? Leave it down in the comment section. Am I crazy? I've already gotten that from multiple people. You're crazy. There's no way we're going to be competitive. You're psyching yourself up. I don't psych myself up. I'm too old for that. I don't do that anymore. If I think we're going to get our doors blown off, I tell you that. If I think we're going to lose, I tell you that. I think we're going to lose. And I told you how I think we're going to lose. But I do think we're going to be competitive. The last time we were a double-digit underdog like this, we went out and we stole a game nobody gave us a chance to win against the Eagles on the road on a Monday night. Similar spot, on the road, primetime television. I get it. It's not quite primetime. You're the only show in town. It's primetime to me. Divisional opponent. We look like trash. It feels like a spot where we got nothing to lose. We play our best football. You could throw that into the pot too. Another reason why this feels like a good spot for us. We play better when we've got nothing to lose, when there's no expectations. Nobody's giving us a chance in this game. Nobody thinks we got a chance in hell. Vegas has already told you that we're trash and that we're supposed to get blown out in this game. And I don't know if Dallas is feeding into that narrative or not, but they're humans. They saw what we did against the Giants. They know what they did to the Giants twice this year. We lost to the Giants twice this year. They're looking at us like food, as they should. Will they eat is the question. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But I think this is a good spot for us. Remember, this league is so unpredictable. And a lot of times when it comes to family business, it doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. I know. Watch what happens tomorrow. Anyway, that's my prediction for this game. What's yours? Leave it down in the comment section. I can't wait to read score and more. What says you? I got us losing this game 30-20. I'm telling you, I could see a victory. I feel it in my spirit. I told you this yesterday. This feels weird. I don't usually get this feeling, especially when we're garbage. Rarely do I have this feeling, but something just feels different this week. Sort of like the Eagles game earlier this season. We lost, but we were very competitive and should have won. Lost that game in overtime. If Ron would have gone for 2, I think we would have won that game in regulation 32-31. But that's nor here nor there. The bottom line is, I think this team's going to show up and play a really good game, and they're going to give themselves a chance. I think they're ultimately going to fall short because this defense isn't worth a damn. But I think we're going to go out and we're going to be competitive with this Dallas Cowboys football team. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyway, I've been called worse. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. One last final thing. The link to the Bleacher Report post-game show with me and Law will be down in the description of this video, and I will pin it in the comment section as well, so you'll have it. The post-game show will start at 8. It'll be roughly from 8 to 8:30, and then after we're done with that, we'll come on here live from probably 8:45 until, right? So we'll be spending Thanksgiving night together, it feels like. If you've got nothing going on, like, I'm not trying to hoard your time, but if you got time, stop by, drop a line or two, man, kick it with the kid. Look forward to chopping it up with y'all. Y'all know what it is. I don't know how many more of these we got in us, but you know what it is. Let's roll these boys.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the 30, the 20. He's gone.